In this demo, we will learn about sorting strings in C#. Sorting orders items from a collection according to a set of rules. For string data, sorting is often applied alphabetically. We may optionally consider the case of characters when sorting strings by applying either case-sensitive or case-insensitive sorting. We may also need to consider cultural and linguistic rules to sort data accurately for a given language and country. Our requirements for the application include writing out various files containing processed data. One such output is a list of all unique sales category codes. The application already contains a stub for a sales category codes writer class, which will eventually perform this work. We won't complete its full implementation in this module, but let's make a start. One option for getting the unique codes in sorted order is to use link. We can create a local variable named sorted codes and assign it using the link method syntax. We'll access the sales data and call the link select method to extract the category code. We'd only like unique codes, and we can achieve that by chaining a call to distinct. Finally, we want to sort the codes, which is a task for the order by method. We'll add a breakpoint so that we can later inspect this code during debugging. Currently, our writer method is not invoked during processing. We'll return to the sales data class to rectify this. If we have some processed UK sales data, then we'll call the writer. We first need an instance of the sales category codes writer. Once created, we can call its writeAsync method, providing a file name for the output, the processed data to be written, and our cancellation token. Because this is an asynchronous method, we must also await it. There's one final change we need to make before we can run our code. Currently, all processed items are only considered valid for further processing when their product info property is a valid value. The current productinfo.parse factory method is always returning an invalid instance at the moment. So temporarily, we'll update this to return a valid product info instance using to-do as the values for the sales code and the SKU. We'll return to this method later in the course to add a proper implementation. We can now begin debugging. Our breakpoint in the writer is hit, and we can inspect the sorted codes variable. Expanding its results, we find 6 codes. They appear to be sorted, but we have repetition in the first 2 codes. They differ by case, but are otherwise the same code. The default comparison applied by the link distinct method is case insensitive. We need to be more explicit about our intent. Many of the link methods, which perform sorting or comparison, accept a comparer, which controls how the values should be compared. It's always a good practice to include this explicitly in code rather than relying on the default behavior. This can help us to avoid bugs and any incorrect assumptions we have about the default behavior. All valid codes should contain only UK English letters, so we don't need to consider culture for this comparison. When identifying distinct values, we want to ignore their case. By ignoring the case, we instruct the method to consider values which differ only by their case to be the same. We can use the ordinal ignore case comparer, which is not culture sensitive and performs more quickly for our requirement. We'll also be explicit with the order by method and pass in an ordinal ignore case comparer there too. After making these changes, we can rerun the application. This time, when we expand the results, we see 5 values, which are all correctly distinct from one another. They are also sorted in order. We ignored the case in the order by comparer so that we don't end up with the lowercase codes appearing after the uppercase codes. Instead, we've achieved our desired result, an alphabetical sort of unique codes.